My name is Kavita Reddy, and since there is no, I will introduce myself. I have a PhD in science from CFTRI Mysore, and I have a master's from Agricultural University um, in okay foods and nutrition. And whatever I tell you all today, it is not my own story. It's published, properly evidenced studies, published work. So you can
here.
Okay, thank you. You can blindly trust whatever I tell you, because I have evidence for everything, support for everything. And I do nutrition counseling. My organization is called Shreya Nutrition. Um, if you are interested, I'm there on Instagram and Facebook and all for nutrition benefits. You can always go to Shreya Nutrition. Okay, now I'll start the presentation. Is it clear for everybody?
Yes.
Yes.
Clear.
So today I'll be talking about nutritional and health benefits of soybeans and soy products. The thing I believe in is, if suppose tomorrow you're going to make some product out of soybeans, unless you yourself are convinced about its nutritional value and health benefits, you can't really tell other people in a convincing manner. So when you know the goodness of soy or the soy products, only then you can convince others. So here are I put them in a very basic form. So if you need more information, you can always get in touch with me through Mr. Bhattacharjee. So we are in touch. So please let me know if you have any complicated questions and all. I will be very happy to answer them for you. Now, how important is nutrition? Before I had to tell a lot about nutrition and all. Now everybody knows the importance of nutrition, especially when it comes to immunity. So I don't have to stress more on that. So a little bit about basic nutrition. Now, generally, what we need for our body to function properly is macronutrients and micronutrients. Now, what are macronutrients? Macronutrients means they are required in larger quantities, and they are carbohydrates, lipids, and proteins. Lipids means fats. Now, micronutrients means minerals and vitamins. They are called micronutrients because they are required in very, very small quantities, maybe milligrams, maybe micrograms. But unless these micronutrients, that is vitamins and minerals, are there, our body cannot utilize carbohydrates, fats, or proteins. So if you want to use these properly, these have to be micronutrients, have to be there in our diet. And also in our food, we have other things like fiber and antioxidants. They don't have any nutritional value, but they have a lot of health value. They provide us with a lot of health benefits. Therefore, it's very, very important. And generally, how you feel, how you look, how you perform, everything depends on what you eat. So in a nutshell, you are what you eat. That's why food is what tells you how a person is. And now when it comes to soybean soy composition, you can see that it contains 38% protein, which is quite a lot. If you take arhar dal or moong dal or any other pulses, there will be some 20 to 25% of protein, whereas soybeans have about 40% of protein. And they have 15% to 20% of carbohydrate and little bit of moisture, and they have 20% of fat or oil. So it can be considered as an oil seed also. But the most important component of soybean is the protein, because it is 40%. From commercial value, of course, fat or oil also is very important. But from nutritional point of view, It is the protein which is very, very important. And soybean is also a very good source of fiber. Fiber is the carbohydrate which is not digested by us humans. And why is fiber so important? That is because, see, if let's say a person weighs about 50 kgs, okay. Now in 50 kgs, anywhere between 2 to 3 kgs of our weight is nothing but all the microbes which are living in our body, especially our large intestine. So not many people know that inside our body, we have 2 to 3 kgs of microorganisms living. Now, these microorganisms, they are very, very important for our immunity. So if they are well, we are also good because they help us fight other infections. So these microbes feed on fiber. So if we provide enough fiber in our diet, they are also happy and we are also happy. Now, here it is much more clearer. Protein is here 40%. The rest, okay, they are important, but not that important. Fat is about 18%. And moisture, depending on how you treat it. So these are the different components of soybeans. It is a nutritional gift, especially in India, because even if we are a non-vegetarian, we don't eat non-veg every day. So dals or pulses are our major source of protein, and soybean has 40% protein. So that is where soybean plays a very, very important role. And immunity, protein is the most important constituent. So soybean gives us plenty of protein. That's why it makes a very, very important ingredient, especially for Indians. Now, what happens if somebody is not eating sufficient amount of protein? There will be growth retardation. If a child is there, he or she is supposed to genetically maybe grow up to say 5'8" or 6 feet tall. They will not grow that much because there is not enough protein in the diet. Then there will be reduced immunity, so more susceptible to lot of infections. Anemia, a lot of people think the minute they think hemoglobin is less, we are anemic, they only think about giving iron. But hemoglobin, heme is iron, globin is protein. So generally we forget about the protein. And when doctor says eat good food, we are only concentrating on iron, iron, iron. But if there is no globin, which is protein, hemoglobin can't be formed. So it is very important to have iron rich foods along with protein rich foods. So very, very important. And muscle wasting. When you don't take enough protein, our body starts using up muscle. So we waste muscle. So it's very difficult to put on muscle, but it's very easy to lose muscle if we don't have enough protein in our diet. So it's very important to have proper amount of protein in our diet. Now, where do we get protein from? We get from a variety of foods. It could be non-vegetarian foods like meat, chicken, fish, dairy, that is milk and paneer and other things, curd, etc. We get from eggs. Legumes means dals, pulses, nuts, seeds, and soybeans. We also get from rice and wheat, but a smaller extent. Like we don't get rice and wheat have cereals have lower content of protein. And the thing is, we have to understand one important point here is there is something called quality of protein. It is not just enough of having enough protein, but we should have good quality of protein, which I will talk in detail. Now, what is quality of protein? There are some essential amino acids which we have to provide through our diet every day. What are amino acids? Proteins are made out of amino acids. They are like building blocks of proteins. Now, these essential amino acids, if we don't provide through our diet, then our body will not be able to do many functions, including growth, enzyme actions. There our hair won't grow properly. So many functions cannot be done if all the essential amino acids are not provided every day. And the protein, even if it has all the essential amino acids, if we eat and if it is not digested properly, then again it's a waste. So it should have all the essential amino acids and it should be digestible in our body and it should meet our human requirements. So based on all these points, we say some proteins are good quality, some proteins are not that good quality. So quality is as important as quantity when it comes to protein. Now, when our protein, you say any protein, if it contains all the essential amino acids and it is nicely digested in our body and meets all the requirements of our body, then it is called a complete protein. Now, any protein which comes from animal, whether it's fish, poultry, or mutton, or milk, paneer and all, they are complete proteins. They are very good quality proteins because they supply all the essential amino acids and are digested properly. Whereas anything which comes from plants, like say dal or rice or rotis, wheat, they are not complete proteins because something is missing. So there may be 2 essential amino acids missing or 3 essential amino acids missing. That's why they are called incomplete proteins. That's why animal proteins are said to be better quality compared to plant proteins. Now, plant proteins, when you mix 2 of them, they become complete protein. For example, what is not there in dal is there in rice or in rotis. What is not there in rice and rotis is there in dal. So when you mix these 2, it becomes a complete protein. On its own, dal is incomplete. On its own, rice is incomplete or roti is incomplete. That's why in every meal, try to incorporate both cereal, that is rice or wheat, as well as dal. Lot of people do not eat dal in the night, saying it is not digested easily. But then you are eating incomplete protein. Now, what does soy do in this? How is soy helpful? Soy is one of those plant products which has complete protein. That means it supplies all the essential amino acids and it is digestible and its protein quality is equal to milk or eggs or other animal products. So you don't have to mix soy with rice or with anything. On its own also, it supplies complete protein. Now, I told you at the beginning, it has about 40% of protein, which is much more than dals. And now I'm telling you all that it is a complete protein. So you have quantity as well as quality if you look at soy products. That's why soy plays a very, very important role. Now, how much we require, I won't go into detail so much here because we don't have that much time. But a normal person requires about 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per kg body weight. If it's a pregnant lady or a lactating lady or a child who's growing, they require more. They require almost double. So it's very important. Another point is protein is not stored in the body. So that is why we have to give our body every day the required amount of protein. That's where quantity and quality both play an important role. Now, what are the benefits of soy protein apart from providing a lot of protein and good quality protein is that it is not very expensive. It is very economical protein and it is available also everywhere. It is easily available and you don't have to eat only soybeans or one product. You get a variety of products from soy so that you can easily incorporate into your diet. You get soybeans, you get soy flour, you can add it to many products. You get soya badi, that is granules and nuggets. You get soy milk, you get tofu, that is soy paneer, soy nuts. There are an array of products which are available, which can be used. So it doesn't become boring. Now, if there is only one product every day, like only soy milk is available or soybeans, you tend to get bored after a while. But here you have so many products which can be used in different ways. Now, other than that, there are other benefits of soy protein also, because soy protein also, soybeans also have a plant chemical or plant sterols. They are called isoflavones. Together with protein and isoflavones, soybeans are help prevent several diseases such as heart. They are good for heart because they reduce cholesterol. They have anti-carcinogenic effects. So it is good, like some types of hormones, some types of cancers, not all cancers, but especially hormone dependent cancers. The risk reduces if you eat soy regularly. It improves bone health. There are reasons for that which I can't go into detail now, but there is much more deposition of calcium, and also there is less loss of calcium from bones if you eat soy regularly. And for women who have menopause problems like irritability or heart issues or so many other issues, because of the plant estrogens or phytosterols or isoflavones present in soybeans, they help to somewhat reduce the distress symptoms in menopause. It also helps in weight reduction. There are so many benefits of including soy and soy products in the diet. When it comes to soybean oil, it has a lot of polyunsaturated fatty acids. It also has omega-3 fatty acids, which is good for our brain and heart and all. Not many plant foods have omega-3 fatty acids. And in general, we are not supposed to stick to one type of oil. We are supposed to keep changing our oil. Suppose you are going to buy, say, 4 types of oils for your home in a month. So one of them can be soybean oil. Otherwise, also soybean oil fatty acid profile is a very healthy profile. So we have protein, soy protein, good quantity, good quality. Then we have soybean oil, which is also good for our health because of the omega-3 fatty acids and the polyunsaturated fatty acids. Now, I was talking about isoflavones. These isoflavones, they are also called phytosterols. These are plant chemicals which are present in soybeans. There are 2 types, genistein and diazein, and these are attached to the protein. So if you take protein, soy protein, along with it, you get a bonus of isoflavones, which are good for your heart. They are good for alleviating distress symptoms of menopause, and they help in anti-carcinogenic effect, and they also help in deposition of calcium. They make our bones more dense, more stronger. Okay. Now, I don't think I will go into the products of interest because I'm sure the other speakers are going to talk in detail about different soybean products. I only want to mention that when there are so many products available, it will be easier to incorporate them into the diet rather than if you have just one product made out of soybeans. Now, okay. And in India, we are like the capital for diabetes, and soy protein also helps in regulating sugar levels, glucose levels in the blood. And everybody who is diabetic, they are at a risk of developing heart issues also. So soybean is good for diabetic people and also people who have heart issues. So it is like double-edged benefits are there. It's good for both diabetes and heart problems, which are very, very high in India. So they help in regulating both cholesterol and glucose levels in our body, in our blood. And anti-carcinogenic, there are a lot of studies which are done on breast cancer, prostate cancer and all, which shows that because of the isoflavones and because of the soy protein, there is reduction in the risk of certain hormone dependent cancers like breast cancer and also prostate cancer. There are several studies available on this topic. Now, other benefits like osteoporosis is another big issue, especially with women where the bones become very fragile. So when the deposition of calcium is better, the risk of osteoporosis is lowered. And menopausal symptoms, women who are going through menopause have a lot of issues like hot flashes and irritability and problems with their estrogen, skin and all these problems to a certain extent can be reduced by just taking soy foods regularly in the diet. For sports people, protein is very, very important. Then isoflavones are also very, very important because they have antioxidant value. So for sports people also, there are several benefits because sports people require double the amount of protein than normal people. And for weight reduction, generally what happens in weight reduction diets, you bring down fat, you bring down carbohydrate. Something has to go up, and it is generally protein which goes up. So when protein goes up in a diet, to meet the protein requirement, you add protein-rich foods like soybeans or soy products. So these are the other benefits of eating soy products and soybeans. Now, there is a lot of work which has been done on anemia. When you feed people, especially kids, when they are fed with soy, the hemoglobin levels have gone up. So it is very good for them. So this is just, I have summarized this. I think I'm going past the time given to me. So I will just summarize. First is soybean is very, very rich source of protein. Secondly, it is a very good source of good quality protein, especially for vegetarians, those who don't eat much animal products. For them, they get superior quality of protein by eating or incorporating soy products into their diet. Then it's a good source of isoflavones, which don't have any nutritional benefits, but they have a lot of health benefits. They are good for the heart. They are anti-carcinogenic. They are good for women who are going through menopausal issues. So in general, protein and isoflavones are very, very good for our nutritional status to go up and also for our health, and very good for our heart, the protein as well as isoflavones. And for diabetic people, it helps in regulating the sugar levels. For people with high cholesterol levels, it helps in regulating the cholesterol levels.